Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Sam Fury Show. This episode is a summary of the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray is a guide exploring fundamental differences in communication and emotional needs between men and women, aiming to enhance mutual understanding and relationship harmony. Chapter 1. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. This chapter introduces the metaphorical concept that men and women come from different planets, Mars and Venus, and explores how forgetting these inherent differences leads to conflicts in relationships. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Recognize and respect the inherent differences between men and women to reduce conflict and confusion. 2. Avoid making assumptions about how your partner should think, feel, or react based on your own gender-specific behaviors. 3. Communicate lovingly and effectively about these differences to improve understanding and harmony in the relationship. 4. Remember that men and women have different ways of coping with stress and require different approaches for support. 5. Focus on giving love in a way that aligns with your partner's unique needs and preferences, respecting their different perspectives. Chapter 2. Mr Fixit and the Home Improvement Committee. This chapter discusses gender-specific communication issues, focusing on men's tendency to offer solutions and women's desire for empathy. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Listen empathetically to a partner's problems without immediately offering solutions. 2. Avoid giving unsolicited advice as it can imply distrust in a partner's competence. 3. Express feelings and frustrations openly without expecting a partner to provide a solution. 4. Recognize and respect differences in communication styles between genders. 5. Offer support and understanding instead of trying to fix or change a partner's emotions or actions. Chapter 3. Men Go to Their Caves and Women Talk. This chapter explores how men and women cope with stress differently, affecting communication and understanding in relationships. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Recognize that men and women handle stress differently. Men often withdraw, while women prefer to talk about their problems. 2. Listen without offering solutions when your partner discusses their problems, especially if they're just seeking empathy. 3. Communicate your own stress coping needs to your partner to foster mutual understanding and support. 4. Don't take it personally if your partner copes with stress in a way that's different from your own method. 5. Provide space for your partner when they need it and seek out friends or activities for support during such times. Chapter 4. How to Motivate the Opposite Sex. This chapter examines motivational differences between men and women, suggesting men are motivated by feeling needed while women by feeling cherished. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Acknowledge and appreciate your partner's efforts to feel motivated and provide support in the relationship. 2. Communicate your needs clearly and trust your partner to meet them, enhancing mutual understanding and support. 3. Set healthy boundaries in giving and receiving within the relationship to prevent resentment. 4. Understand and respect that men and women may express and experience love differently. 5. Encourage and appreciate your partner's contributions to the relationship, fostering a positive and supportive environment. Chapter 5. Speaking Different Languages. This chapter discusses the communication differences between men and women, likening it to speaking different languages, and offers guidance for better understanding and interaction. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Recognize and accept that men and women often use the same words with different meanings, leading to misunderstandings. 2. When expressing feelings, women may use generalizations or exaggerations, which men should not interpret literally, but rather as expressions of emotion. 3. Men often need solitary time to process thoughts and feelings, which should be respected without intrusion or pressure to communicate. 4. Women can communicate more effectively with men by clearly stating needs and requests without criticism or implying blame. 5. Both genders should strive to understand and respect their differences in communication, using empathy and patience to avoid misinterpretation. Chapter 6. Men are like rubber bands. This chapter explains the rubber band theory in relationships, describing how men often need to pull away like a rubber band before coming back closer in a relationship. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Recognize that men's need to pull away is natural and not necessarily a reflection of relationship problems. 2. Avoid chasing or pressuring a man when he needs space, as this can hinder his return to closeness. 3. Understand that men's return from pulling away can be sudden and intense, without needing a reconnection period. 4. Communicate openly about needs and feelings during times of closeness, fostering understanding and connection. 5. Respect each other's differences in handling intimacy and space, adapting communication and expectations accordingly. Chapter 7. Women are like waves. This chapter describes how a woman's self-esteem fluctuates in a wave-like motion, reflecting her changing emotional needs and the importance of understanding and support in relationships. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Recognize and respect the natural emotional cycle of a woman, understanding that her self-esteem will rise and fall. 2. Listen empathetically and provide support when she is experiencing emotional lows without trying to fix her feelings. 3. Communicate openly about emotional needs and changes, creating an environment where it's safe to express vulnerabilities. 4. Avoid invalidating her feelings or minimizing her emotional experiences, especially during her down phases. 5. Understand that emotional support and validation are key, regardless of external successes or material wealth. Chapter 8. Discovering our different emotional needs. This chapter discusses the different emotional needs of men and women, emphasizing that understanding and fulfilling these distinct needs are key to successful, nurturing relationships. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Recognize and accept that men and women have different primary emotional needs and express love differently. 2. For men, focus on providing trust, acceptance, appreciation, admiration, approval, and encouragement to women. 3. For women, focus on expressing caring, understanding, respect, devotion, validation, and reassurance to men. 4. Avoid offering unsolicited advice or trying to change your partner. Trust and accept them as they are. 5. Listen empathetically and validate your partner's feelings without immediately offering solutions or judgments. Chapter 9. How to avoid arguments. This chapter explores effective communication in relationships, focusing on avoiding arguments by understanding and respecting each other's emotional needs and differences. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Avoid arguing. Instead, discuss differences respectfully, focusing on understanding rather than winning. 2. Recognize and validate your partner's feelings before trying to solve problems or offer explanations. 3. Communicate your feelings directly and clearly without using accusatory or rhetorical questions. 4. Take responsibility for de-escalating conflicts by acknowledging when a disagreement is turning into an argument. 5. Use timeouts to cool down and return to discussions with a more understanding and respectful approach. Chapter 10. Scoring points with the opposite sex. This chapter discusses how men and women perceive and value acts of love differently, emphasizing the importance of understanding and respecting these differences to maintain a fulfilling relationship. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Recognize that for women, small acts of love are as significant as big gestures and consistently offer small expressions of affection. 2. Understand that women keep score differently. Each act of love, big or small, earns equal points in their eyes. 3. Men should focus on regularly doing small, thoughtful things for their partners, rather than relying on grand gestures alone. 4. Women should clearly express appreciation for both the big and small things their partners do, as men value acknowledgement. 5. Both partners should communicate openly about their needs and preferences, understanding that these may differ significantly. Chapter 11. How to communicate difficult feelings. This chapter provides a comprehensive guide on using the love letter technique to express and manage difficult emotions in relationships, enhancing understanding and intimacy. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Write a love letter to express complex feelings like anger, sadness, fear, regret, and love, helping to clarify and release emotions. 2. Create a response letter to yourself, imagining the supportive words you wish to hear from your partner, enhancing emotional healing. 3. Share your love letter and response letter with your partner when appropriate, fostering deeper understanding and empathy. 4. Utilize the love letter technique regularly, even for non-romantic relationships or personal reflections, to manage and understand emotions better. 5. Engage in group support or therapy when sharing and listening to others' emotional experiences, expanding personal insights and healing. Chapter 12. How to ask for support and get it. This chapter guides women on effectively asking for support in relationships and addressing common communication differences and misunderstandings between men and women. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Practice asking for support you're already receiving, acknowledging and appreciating your partner's contributions without taking them for granted. 2. Use clear, direct language in requests, employing would you or will you instead of could you or can you to avoid misunderstandings. 3. Accept no gracefully when your partner is unable to fulfill a request, building trust and understanding in the relationship. 4. Employ assertive asking by remaining silent after making a request, allowing your partner time to consider and respond without pressure. 5. Understand and respect a man's sensitivity to feeling accepted and appreciated as is, rather than attempting to change or improve him. Chapter 13. Keeping the magic of love alive. This chapter explains how love can surface unresolved feelings, leading to emotional distancing or unloving reactions in relationships. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Recognize that feeling loved can bring up past unresolved feelings, leading to sudden negative reactions towards your partner. 2. Use love letters as a tool to express and process repressed feelings, helping to avoid projecting these onto your partner. 3. Understand the 90/10ths principle in conflicts. 90% of the upset is often related to past issues, not the current situation. 4. Be aware of the seasons of love in relationships, each requiring different types of nurturing and understanding. 5. Regularly communicate and address hidden feelings, using therapy or support groups if needed to heal and grow in the relationship. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Sam Fury Show. If you found this episode useful, let me know with a like, follow, and share. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to visit samfury.com and join my free newsletter. As a subscriber, you'll receive no more than 1 email a week containing a roundup of my latest posts, as well as exclusive content which is only for my mailing list. It's completely free to join at samfury.com.